Yeah, criticism is something very essential. It touches all of us. You mean criticism between people? Yes, and especially in Israel. Oh, we can say that in Israel we have a very developed sense of criticism. We like slashing our tongues, and we see that it's worsening in society, and it's almost becoming a national sport to sit and criticize everyone. TV is full of it. Right, TV is full of it. The media is full of it, full of criticism. But today we'd like to focus on the criticism that stands at the basis of all conflicts in a person's closest circles. Because when we look at our relationships, we see that criticism truly impacts our ability to connect and have a good relationship and have a good life, or it creates big crises. So on this show, we'd like to talk about a person's closest circles. He has close relationships at home, at work, with the parents, the children, spouse, people he works with, and we see that criticism that a person has towards someone else is something that sometimes we can't control. It suddenly surfaces. It burns inside you. Another interesting thing is that when you get to know someone, at first you don't see it. Everything seems fine and good. And suddenly, when you have a closer interaction with that person, all the criticism towards him starts surfacing, and then the question really is, how do you cope with that? But before the coping part, let's understand, what's this inclination we have to criticize others? This is something that's natural for a person because we're all egoists. And our nature is first and foremost to keep ourselves in a certain status towards others, according to the rule of I shall rule. Everyone, according to their own egoistic nature, thinks that he or she is a special creature, the ruler of the world, deserving everything, and everyone else is here in order to serve me. And no one can criticize him, and no one can demand anything of him, but he can do it towards everyone. And this is how we're born. And this is how we demand. We can see it on babies, on little children, and from generation to generation, it's going and growing. And also our parents add to it out of love. And what follows is that when a person grows, until he starts meeting other people, suppose in kindergarten, then okay. They don't yet feel each other that much. The social sense is not yet that developed in a person, in favor or against. They're not even coming in order to exploit, use society, because the ego is still small, it's not cunning. But later on in schools, we see that there are those that sit quietly in the corner, and there are those that criticize, and there are those that demand, and there are those that can twist and turn everyone. That's nature. You can't do anything about it. If we don't stop it, then it'll go and grow, and from generation to generation, people will become more critical to the point where we see how we're distancing from each other. In the past, people could sit together. Neighbors used to have parties together in the backyard. Today, you have no such thing. I don't want to know who lives next door, and so on. Meeting criticism against everyone is something natural. The media supports it. They get a lot of juice out of it for themselves. And we see that it's everywhere, starting with heads of governments, through international situations, through family life that somehow exists barely and is crumbling. Is there a connection between a person's level of development and the level of criticism he has? Of course, it's one and the same, because the thing that develops in a person is his ego, and his ego is that he feels himself as someone separate, unique with respect to others, and therefore his criticism towards others grows accordingly. The more separate he is, the more he feels himself as an individual, because then he looks at others from the side and always with a critical eye. It's natural. We see that that's how it is. It's been developing this way for thousands of years, and especially in the past hundreds of years, and especially dozens of years, we see how all the new media, the internet, add to it. Because what happens on Facebook and on all these social networks, it's the main thing, to show everyone that I blow the whistle on them, that I kick everyone, and I don't care that everyone does the same to me, but the main thing is that I do it, and it seems to me that I'm the only one doing it. So at least there, I discharge myself, and then I somehow calm down. This is why people can't leave these networks, especially because of that. That there, I feel that I have my keyboard, and then I allow myself to do anything. Meaning, to hope that this will ever end. Maybe. It'll take on some other form. What do you mean? Not that it'll completely end. Of course criticism won't end, because it's a natural mechanism. It's natural, it's egoistic, but it will end in terms of people will move on onto a more complex, sophisticated ego, and they'll even stop paying attention to each other. Meaning I'll have such pride that I won't even look at others. So much that I won't even criticize others. Yeah, the main thing for me is to feel myself, to be on my own, to provide a standard of living where I don't need anyone else, to have as little contact as possible with others, as if they don't exist, as if I'm the only one in the world, the only ruler of the world, and all the others, they exist here and there, someplace far away, and they're there in order to make stuff I need. It's very interesting what you just said, because if I were to draw a graph of the human development, that at first there was a small sense of criticism, because we're not really conscious, or it was instinctive, natural, where everyone understood that he is connected to his tribe, and if he doesn't add, if he doesn't give, then no one has what to eat, and all of us die, and all of us suffer. The ego, where back then we lived in caves and in the fields, our ego didn't differentiate us. We had a collective ego. We had to survive. We maybe went to war, tribe against tribe, but inside the tribe, we felt as a family.